Hello, hi guys, welcome to Two Docs Podcast. I'm Dr. Ali here.
And I'm Dr. Ingky, and welcome to the podcast. Two medical doctors generally speaking about stuff which is non-medical, more towards the business, entrepreneur, and a little bit of self-help as well.
Alright, and this week we're going to talk about the common mistakes doctors make when filing for their personal income tax.
Alright, now currently it's tax season.
Tax season.
It's tax season.
Right. So it's end of April, income tax is coming up, and by end of June will be corporate tax.
Yeah, so some very really famous actually said this, and I forgot who I think it was Albert Einstein. There's two certainties in life, taxes and death.
Taxes and death.
Right, so you cannot run away.
Cannot run
either
away.
One.
Yep.
Either one.
And that's the worst part because I think taxes is worse than death.
Of course.
Yeah. Because death is just one time. That's it. Finish.
Yes.
Taxes, right? They can let you run a couple of years. You thinking you didn't do anything wrong,
And
they'll come and bite you, and then they'll surcharge you.
And you know what's the problem I have with taxes? Income tax office, right, or your inland revenue office knows how much you're supposed to pay, but they refuse to tell you how much you're supposed to pay.
Yeah,
you're supposed to guess how much you're supposed to pay.
They leave it to you.
They leave it
to
you
declare.
Yes. So basically, right, if you ask them how much am I supposed to pay, they say, well, I have no idea how much you're supposed to pay. Just please pay.
Just pay.
And once you pay, then they tell you, oh, sorry, it's the wrong amount that you're supposed to pay.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah. So income tax it's a game. Right?
It's a game. It's a game, and it's all about your honesty.
I think it's based on your honesty.
Your honesty.
Right. It's highly based on your honesty because it's based on your truthful 100% declaration. And of course, you know, humans being humans, you declare the first couple of times correct, and you be like, hey,
let's try to beat the system.
I just should beat a little bit lah.
Just a little bit. I want to save some money, you know.
And as you beat it the first year, then you hey, since I pushed it, I pushed the envelope a little bit. Why not push it a little bit more and more and more?
Yeah. So let's start with things that common mistakes that doctors make. So number one, this one I'm not sure whether you remember when we first started as housemen, not declaring your income tax.
Oh yes,
because at one time, if your income is below certain amount, you won't be paying any taxes. So a lot of people assume, since I'm not paying income tax,
I do not need to declare
it at all.
Yes, correct.
So that's your mistake number one.
Yes, actually, that was actually a very common mistake that I've actually seen among my peers too. So the first year when I started working, I declared my income tax. And what happened was I was talking to a couple of people, right? I said, hey, have you guys declared your income tax? They said, no, there's no need. We are still in the untaxable bracket. I said, well, that being said, you should declare your income tax even though you're not taxable. And the reason is even if you're not taxable, right, if you don't declare, right, income tax office can always come back and say, hey, you didn't declare, and here's a penalty.
Correct. It's an offense.
Yeah, it's an offense. They can penalize you for not declaring your income tax, even though you're not taxable.
Correct. And the worst part is the penalty. They will double up your income.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
So then you start paying tax on a double income, which makes you into a taxable bracket, which is very silly. So mistake number one to always avoid: please declare your income tax, even though you're not in a taxable bracket. And this applies to even non-doctors.
Correct.
All right. Mistake number two: over declaring your tax relief.
Oh, okay. I was thinking you were over declaring your taxable income. Okay.
No. Yeah, we'll come to that first.
Okay.
But with the common things that they always do.
Your tax relief.
Yeah, your tax relief. So you know you got all sorts of tax relief, right?
Yes.
So you've already got your personal tax relief, you got your EPF relief, your insurance, medical insurance, then you've got your PRS, the retirement scheme, medical card.
Yeah. Medical and stuff like that.
Then you have your computers, your lifestyle, your sports, your
stationery,
books, your kids, education, a lot. Now, this comes from the enforcement officer of income tax because I happen to have one of them as my client before. So I asked him, how do you red flag someone? Oh, he said, as long as if you declare more than 5 items, we red flag you first.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, so your limit is 5.
Limited is why 5?
Huh?
Because they assume a regular person have no more than 5.
Not more than 5.
Okay.
And you may have more than 5, but then they red flag you to hunt you down to get your receipts. So you can declare more provided you have all the receipts. All right? It has to be proper and follow in accordance. So don't try your luck to push it more even though you don't have the receipts. Yeah, so if you declare more than 5, they'll put you in the red flag area first. Then they will process this lot before they process the other lots. So try not to declare more than 5.
Right.
And some of them are very ridiculously small amounts. So no point declaring those small amounts. Go for the largest one possible.
No, really. I always thought that it's the small amounts that won't get you in trouble, but it's the large ones that will get you in trouble.
No. As long as you have the receipts, it's fine. So what I'm saying is, if you have the limit of 5, declare the 5 highest value ones. It's provided you have the receipts. So the small ones, forget it. Let it be. You buy a sports equipment, 300-400 ringgit, forget it.
Yeah, and a lot of times, right? If you don't have the receipts and you declare it, and the hassle comes in when the officer wants to see the receipts.
Correct.
And once you can't find it, then it's
Correct.
like, hey, you can't find it, right? So this is what you're supposed to pay, and this is the penalty on it.
Along that same note, right? Since we're talking about receipts, please make copies of the receipts from your receipt. Because most of these are thermal paper.
Thermal papers, they tend to disappear.
They will
after a while.
fade after a while, especially if you keep an area that has a bit of heat.
Yeah, and a lot of times, tax assessments, when they want to audit your tax assessments, it's not from the previous year, it's usually from a couple of years
Couple of years back.
Yeah, and most of the time, your thermal receipts have already faded off.
Correct. And always remember, you have to keep it for 7 years.
Yeah, 7 years.
All right. Okay. Mistake number 3. This one probably applies to doctors more. Not declaring your locums.
Yes. Correct.
Locums is taxable income.
Yeah. So I think this actually applies, right, to a lot of different sources of income.
Yes.
Because we always assume that you just need to declare your
The
main
main source of income.
right? But do you know you have to declare your source of income from rental properties, right? You have
Correct.
to declare source of income when you're paid by third parties. Example, you're being paid to speak for a company or a pharmaceutical company, and they pay you some amounts of money. You're supposed to declare that as well.
Because they've written off the receipt in your name.
Yes, they have already declared to the
That's why
income
they
tax.
always ask
paid
for
you
your name and your
and
IC.
your IC number.
Because they've already written a receipt, a payment voucher to you. So,
Right.
so if that company gets audited,
Yes, audited.
it will trace back to you. Then they'll audit you back.
Correct. So any source of income, you have to put it in. You have to declare it.
Correct. So rental is the other one that
Yes.
a lot of people don't declare.
Yes, a lot of people don't declare because a lot of people assume that, hey, I'm
It's-
renting out to someone, that person is not going to declare it, but you will not know whether that person is putting it as a business expense. And once that person put in as a business expense and he gets audited or he or she gets audited, you will get audited later.
Correct. And and now, even if you're doing Grab,
Yeah, if you're doing Grab,
Grab.
any sort of part-time.
and also if you next is the online sellers.
Yes, correct.
So a lot of online sellers don't declare their income.
That's right.
Right, and the government is clamping down on online selling.
Yeah. Even I actually know a lot of social media influencers. They don't declare the income. However, the companies that pay the fees for your marketing fees and all, they declare it. They declare it as expense. Yeah, they already have your name and IC there. So
Correct. All right. Then the next common mistakes that we do is not paying your PCB,
PCB is
your installments.
installments.
So you are actually required to pay an installment based on your income, and it varies from month to month. So for example, if this month your collected income, your main source of income, let's say was 5,000 ringgit, then you did Grab, you got another 2,000, then you did some online selling, you had another 1,000, so you had 8,000 ringgit. So your taxable a portion at 8,000. I mean the percentage of the 8,000 income. Let's say the next month you didn't do Grab and you didn't do any online selling and you only earn 5,000. Then you pay a portion off for that 5,000. So you actually have to. This is actually very troublesome. That's why if you're doing all this, you have to table it on a month-to-month basis. You have to find a tax agent to assist you with that. Because they can actually fine you for not paying your PCB.
Okay. Well, what if someone works on a commission basis? This example, this month I got a huge commission. So what happens to their PCB?
Same thing. So okay, I use myself for an example. I run on a commission. So some months, every month the commission is different. So my tax PCB every month differs. So you have to actually declare as best as you can on a monthly basis. All right. If you don't do, it all depends on the tax officer. They can actually fine you for not declaring it.
That's right.
But you can always justify that whatever extra I earn year end, I put it back.
You declare it.
You declare it.
You declare it.
So let's say you declare, come back to the example, you earn 5,000 a month. So 1 year you earn 60,000. So you pay the PCB based on that. But on your side, you made plus minus the whole year an additional 20. So you have to declare at the end, when you do your submission, 60,000 main income, 20,000 extra. Then they will recalculate. Then you find you need to pay extra in excess. So make sure if you want to save yourself the hassle of coming up with a chunk of money every end of April, then you do it on a monthly basis. Get someone to assist you. But if you feel you have saved enough, then put it aside and get it done. All right. And the last one is filing it late.
Yeah.
So although almost every year they have an extension,
most of the time they will extend because they know that human beings love to do things last minute.
and always the last minute the system hangs.
Yeah, the system crashes.
The system crashes. So then they'll say, oh, okay, since it crashed, we'll extend 2 more weeks. But some people, even given that 2 weeks grace, they still don't do it. So please file it, because there is a penalty that comes with it.
Yeah.
And again, you need to pay it anyway. As what Ingky says, you cannot avoid taxes.
Tax-free.
And if you avoid or you procrastinate, they will fine you, and in the end, you're paying more than what your tax.
That's right.
Right. So just take this couple of simple ones as the commonest mistakes and try to avoid them, because again, the country needs money.
I would say
taxes.
no. I would say end of the day, whatever tax that you think that you can save from your income tax or not by not paying the government, right? Most of the time, right, it will come and bite you back.
Yeah.
Right. Like it or not, right? Either number one, you live in fear.
Yes.
In perpetual fear.
Correct.
That one day you get a nice envelope with that IRB LHDM
Red colour.
Letterhead over the top, and then you open up and say, hey, please come to the tax office and bring your relevant receipts. There's a day, right, that a lot of people dread, because most of the time you can't find the receipts, right? And to solve that particular problem, right, just declare whatever you have. And even if on times when you've lost the receipts, right, just be honest. Just don't claim those tax reliefs.
Yeah. So push come to shove, you don't have the receipts, just apologize and say receipts are damaged or whatever, I'll pay for it. Don't argue. Don't argue. And actually, the big take-home message of why you should declare it as best as you can is because, as what Ingky says, if you don't declare correctly, right, you perpetually live in fear.
Yes.
And this is how a lot of people get scammed. Because they know.
Scam calls.
Because suddenly someone calls you and say, I'm from LHDN.
Most people
avoid, or they've run away from some tax. So suddenly you get this phone call of some guy who caught you off guard on a day whereby your guard is low and you were so worried. Suddenly they call you, they quote everything correct, your address, your phone number, where you work, and suddenly they said, you owe us money.
Yeah, you owe us money.
And this is how much plus the penalty. If you settle now, we'll file a case against you. Otherwise, tomorrow come to court. And that's how the scam works.
Yes,
because you have not been declaring it correctly. You know there's a bit of guilt in you. So when you get this call, it catches you off guard, you're going to get scammed. You pay and then you end up realizing, hey, it wasn't really from LHDN at all.
Correct.
Yeah. And on that note, whenever I get all these funny messages, I just ignore them because pay taxes correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
So make sure you file your taxes on time, you pay your taxes correctly, and don't overclaim.
All right. So hope you guys found this useful. Drop us a comment if you've actually been caught.
Oh yeah, or you've actually been audited.
Or you've been audited.
Yeah, you've been
and what
audited
was the experience
Yes,
like?
exactly.
I'd like to know from you, firsthand, how scary it is, or what did you do to negotiate your way out of it. All right. Till then, we'll be back next week on The Two Dogs. Signing off. Dr. Ali.
Dr. Ingky, have a good weekend.